We are back here in OTP 25. It has been a bit for me because I like to record with a bit of a backlog of episodes. So I have quite a bit of this saved up, stock ready to go, uploaded, or scheduled to be uploaded. And I just didn't want to record like super far ahead to the point where it's like I'm recording stuff that I know isn't going to be posted until like late June. So I kind of just took like a week or so off of not recording and let my recordings catch up a little bit. And now we're hopping back in the saddle here before we start off this 2028 season. And one thing I did want to show you is an update on a few of our pitching prospects. First one being Patrick Forbes, who was our 6th-round pick in 2025 out of Louisville. He is up in Double-A now, coming off back-to-back very solid seasons in A-ball, and then Double-A last year. You can see here, probably not a starter outlook right now, but he is a solid-looking relief option for us, and I think he is not on the 40-man, but he is somebody who, if we need to call up an arm, Patrick Forbes could be an option. We also love the high work ethic intelligence from him. We also have Chase Shores, who, if you remember, was our 1st-round pick in 2025, and last year missed the entire season after getting the promotion to Double-A because he had post-concussion syndrome after I guess I deleted it. I'm pretty sure I deleted it. But it was after he got in like a motorcycle accident or something. So he missed an entire season with post-concussion syndrome because of a motorcycle accident. So Chase Shores missed all of last year. He's back. His outlook is very much just a reliever at this point. Even then, it's not even looking like a great one. So not a great update on Chase Shores here. That's what I get for getting the work ethic intelligence guys. We also have Grant Taylor, who we picked up from the Padres in the Charles LeBlanc trade, I believe it was. Yeah, LeBlanc and then like this throw-in prospect, and they gave us 2 pitching prospects they kind of stopped believing in Grant Taylor here, who, once again, probably more of a reliever outlook with what he's got right now, but I wouldn't mind giving him innings. He was very good at Double-A last year. We're just kind of letting him hang around on Double-A because I don't want him to go to Triple-A and just get lit up. Plus, we have a lot of like veterans in AAA right now, and he's almost 26, so he's not like the youngest guy of all time, but he is somebody who is currently on the 40-man, right? Yeah, no, he's not. Never mind. I think I was considering putting him on the 40-man, but he is another option that we have to call up. High leader, high work ethic. Love to see that. We also have the other man from that trade, Jackson Ferris, once again, looking more like a reliever at this point, but he does have some growth potential. He did not have the greatest Double-A season, but he wasn't bad, coming off his great season in High A last year and his first season in our system. He was fine. Once again, another reliever sort of looking guy. And then we also have Walbert Urena, who we're doing the same thing. Once again, more of a reliever. At this point, some of these guys will be starting in Double-A, but right now it just hasn't updated. Like I can go down to here, Double-A, and I can just be like, update the staff, and then boom, these guys are starters again. So like Forbes, okay. Apparently they think he's better as a starter. That's wild. Very wild. Anyways, so maybe he does have some starting options, starting ability. Walbert Urena, you can see, goes down a little bit as a starter. Grant Taylor, same deal with him. Jackson Ferris, same deal with him. But if we go back to our short list here, the other guy I wanted to talk about, or 2 more. One being Chris Sands, who was our 1st-round pick last season, 28th overall. You can see here he is the 24th prospect in baseball. He had a fantastic 17 starts in A-ball after being drafted. We just put him straight in A-ball in the California League, and he shoved. So this year, we are starting him off in high A-ball, which obviously is basically the same level now, but I just didn't want to take that jump to Double-A quite yet. I check in with these guys. I obviously don't update every single one of these guys on the recordings, but I do keep an eye on these guys, and if they're performing well or not, I do call them up, obviously. So if like a month or 2 into the season, he's just shoving in High A, he will be at Double-A. If we take a look, you could see, I mean, even right now, you could probably hack it at double A, but I just wanted to kind of ease him into it and not rush him into the double A level. So that's the update on Chris Sands. And then William Schmidt is the other one I wanted to update on. He was our first round pick in season 1, 2024, and he has just been awful. I mean, he was bad in rookie ball. Yeah, I just wanted to get him up into A ball so he had a full season of work. He was not good there. Then I was like, okay, well, I guess we don't want to repeat him at A ball, so we'll put him in high A, and then he was even worse there. We're repeating him in high A again. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for our guy William Schmidt here. Reason number 3 bazillion why I do not like high school pitchers, because this is what happens to high school pitchers. It's either this or they like tear their UCL in like their second professional season, and then they're just done. As far as some interesting batting prospects, though, we don't really have any high-end guys who are like immediately available at like the higher levels of the system. We have like Randy DeJesus, who we all know, the pinch hitter guy from our postseason last year, corner outfield bat. I'm sure he'll be back up at some point this season. You could see I made his nickname the Showman, as I said I would. I'm sure he'll be up at some point this season, but he is starting the year in AAA Salt Lake. Harrison Didowick was our 9th round pick in 2025. He's a very similar profile to DeJesus, so I wouldn't be surprised if like we throw Didowick or DeJesus in a trade at some point if we're trying to like really get a seal. We're trying to really seal a deal here, but as of right now, they both are in the system, and they do have opposite handedness. So he is a lefty, and DeJesus is a righty. So that at least adds a little bit of versatility to the handedness side of it. Jorge Ruiz is still around. We don't really think he's too great, but he is still around in the system. Zavala's still here. Corey Collins is still kicking around as a possible like first base option if we need him at some point with the insane home run, no doubles split thing that he has going on. Warner Blakely is a kind of interesting like corner bat, first, third, left field sort of guy. Not the most interesting, but like we just don't have a lot of hitting prospects. All of our hitting prospects are in the lower levels of the minors. You can see all these potentials. Much more of these guys in the lower level of the minors where they still haven't really developed too much. Like we have Sadid Matthews, who I'm excited about. He was our 2nd round pick last year. He was not great in A ball, but he is in high A here to start, and we're going to see how he does. He's an interesting player to keep our eye on. Terrence Keel is now up to high A. He's still got the 75 range, but he hasn't really ever hit, and he's been in rookie ball, and I was tired of seeing him be in rookie ball, so I was like, let's just get this guy up into A ball, and let's just get him like full season of development here, because the range is very important. He has a similar outlook to, I believe it was Anthony Pack, who we traded away. I can't talk, with the high range, the high speed, but he strikes out a ton, and he has like no future bat really. But you know, this is one of the reasons why we felt comfortable trading Pack, because we have a bunch of guys like this in the lower system with these insane ranges, but they just haven't really done well with the bat. Like even Sadid has 65 range, who we took last year. Dion Cole, who was our 1st round pick in 2026, his range is 65. He's got the good speed. His bat seems way more interesting than the other guys. And he's the same thing where it's like he's not the most qualified to be an A-ball. Like he still has stuff in like the yellows when it comes to his ratings when we sort by a California league. But I just wanted him to get a full season of development at like a level. Obviously, they're still developing even when they're not playing, but I just wanted to get him a full season of like playing, get numbers, get him in there, and do what he does. So Dion Cole is up with the Inland Empire 66ers. But yeah, a lot of our interesting guys are more lower level hitters, and we just don't really have too many higher level organization hitters. Maybe we'll change. We also have like Billy Carson, who is not really that interested anymore. He was our 4th round pick in 2025. 65 range, obviously very good. He was a two-way guy, but he just wasn't pitching that well in the minors. And he's also just, the outlook is not great when it comes to pitching, and I'd rather have the 65 range develop. So Billy Carson, we just, once again, he's a guy who hasn't really done too much in the minors. never really his hit, but he was splitting time between hitting and pitching, and I just wanted to focus on playing defense with this 65 range rather than also trying to develop a mediocre hitting career. Alrighty, we are here at June 1st. That means it is time for the first-year player draft and to see what happened the first 2 months of the season here. As you can see, our Angels are sitting 25-30 on the season. Still in the mix in the American League West because the American League West stinks. And then I guess still in the mix in the wild card too, although there are a lot of teams in between us and that third spot. But obviously it is still the very, very beginning of June, so things can change. We have turned things around before. We've had seasons where we had a negative run differential at this time, and then we ended the season with like a plus 100. If we take a look at our current standings, go to expanded standings here, and we do have a plus 3 run differential, and these teams in front of us have minus run differentials. So I think this team is not 5 games under 500 level type team. I think we're much better than this. We're just kind of underachieving right now. If we take a look at our team here, we go to the info tab, team stats. You can see here, April, May, not great months for us. We're 3-7 in our last 10. Our Pythagorean thinks we are above 500 though, so you can see there we're getting a bit unlucky here. At 28-27 with the Pythagorean. What are we in one-run games? 6-9 in one-run games. That's definitely tough. Really bad on the road so far too. But if we take a look here, not the worst numbers when it comes to batting. Like middle of the road, I would say. 4th OBP, 6th in slugging, 6th in OPS. 6th in home runs, 2nd in least amount of strikeouts, the 5th most stolen bases, but we're also running into a lot of outs with the base running. But then we're like 7th in runs scored. So we're not the worst offense. We're also not the worst pitching staff either. We're not the best. Our defense has taken a bit of a dip as well. But we're kind of not doing the greatest anywhere, but we're not doing the worst either. We're like very middle of the road and everything, I would say. 7th in runs allowed, 7th in runs scored, but still it is positive 3 runs. So at least we're in a negative run differential. At least we're not negative. But if we take a look at some of our players here, let's sort by WRC plus on the bats. You can see Logan O'Hoppe. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. Every time I look at his page, he's doing something absurd. He puts up a 7 WAR last season. That improves upon his 6 WAR from the season before that. And now, we're in June, he's got a 3 WAR. He put up a 3 WAR in the entire 2025 season. I mean, what am I supposed to say about this guy? He dropped his strikeout rate to 11%. What can I even say? He's just insane. He's just insane. He's got a positive framing rating, too. I mean, crazy. Crazy stuff that we've got Logan O'Hoppe locked up basically through his age 31 season in 2031. So we've still got at least 3 more seasons after this of Logan O'Hoppe. And then we will have to take a look at his contract situation. Nolan Shanuel doing his thing as well. Mike Trout is hitting right now, 133 WRC plus. Not many home runs, though, but he is still hitting. He's got an 858 OPS. Love to see that. He's playing left field for us. How's he doing in left? Okay, he's like treading water in left field. The bad thing is here, you can see he's down to wrecked. We knew this was going to happen. He's almost 37. We knew this was going to happen eventually. I'm surprised it honestly took this long for it to happen. And what finally did it to him was he had wrist soreness that knocked him out for 2 weeks. It was a day-to-day injury, but it was like 2 weeks long, so I didn't want him like play through it. So I put him on my IL. He comes back. Boom, he's wrecked. So Mike Trout, not great. But we do have a roster that is capable of spotting him many days right now. You can see we've got Wilyer Abreu playing every 3rd game. He was starting when Trout was out because Wilyer Abreu has been quite good. As you can see here, 131 WRC plus, 8 home runs. What is his OPS? 810 OPS? No, that was Boston when I was saying. 884 OPS. So very solid season coming off the bench, mainly for Wilyer Abreu. You can see we also have Kalai Rosario here. Kalai? I'm really bad with the Hawaiian names, but Rosario here We claimed him from the Phillies on opening day because I saw he was out there, and I really like the gap power eye. He's very similar to Serta in this with a right-handed bat, but what Serta doesn't have is the possible 60 BABIP. So Rosario, let's get another scouting report on him. Rosario was just very intriguing to me. You could see here he finished third in the Eastern League MVP voting last season. He won the Platinum Stick in the Eastern League at DH. I mean, the guy has just torn up the minor leagues. Last year in Double-A, had a 4 WAR with 45 home runs, 23 doubles. Obviously, is going to strike out a ton with this avoid K at 35. He has a 33.9 strikeout rate right now, but he is an interesting player to have. So we've got him basically as like the secondary backup corner outfield guy against lefties, and then the main backup corner outfield guy against righties rather, and then against lefties, he's the main guy because he is the right-handed bat, and Abreu is the left-handed bat, as you can see. So then, taking a look at the WRC pluses again, Ian Happ doing his thing, 10 home run, 10 doubles. He's been a solid signing for us, I would say. And he's also got a positive ZR at first base. Love to see that. I've thought about possibly moving him to left field and Trout to first base, but I just think he's much better of a... I mean, he does have the 60 in left field. 60 in left field with only the 50 range, but he's a 60 overall in left field as opposed to Trout, who is a 55 in left field, but Trout's potential at first base is only 50. So, I don't know, maybe we will, but for now, we are going to keep rocking Happ at first and Trout in left. Nelson Arata has been, like, fine. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. I think he's got off to a much hotter start. Yeah, he was solidly above average in April, slightly below average in May. He's still doing completely fine, though. Nelson Arata in our leadoff spot in his first full season, or was he... No, he was pretty much with us. Yeah, he was with us all last year, too. It's just his first full season of being, like, the everyday starter, I should say. Jordan Westberg got off to a bit of a slow start, but he has rebounded, as you can see. Really bad April, really hot May. So love to see that from Jordan Westberg. He has been a very solid player for us. Not really much too else to say about him. David Calabrese has been not great at the plate, but he's been fine. You know, he's here for his glove, and he's going to do what he does. He's not striking out a ton. He's got like a perfectly fine OPS, and he is playing a positive ZR center field. So David Calabrese, love to see that from him. He just keep doing his thing, while Zach Neto, unfortunately, has gotten off to a slow start with the bat. We know that he's not a great defender at second base for whatever reason, even though he has this insane 65 range and then all the 60s across the board. It just doesn't translate for whatever reason. But even at the plate this year, not great. I mean, we believe in Zach Neto, so it's just a slump. Maybe it's going to be a down year for him, but right now he is struggling a bit. We'll probably pop him down in the lineup, possibly. Maybe do like Happ third, Shanuel, Trout, Neto. Yeah, we might do this. Just to mix things up. But yeah, Neto struggling. Kyron Paris also tough to see. We gave him that extension in the offseason after he puts up basically a 4 WAR for us. Has an insane jump in stats and ratings. And we're like, okay, maybe he's a legit shortstop. And so far this season, not hitting. I guess he's still putting up decent walk and strikeout rate. His BABIP he's never really had BABIP issues. His BABIP is usually around like the same, like every season. He is stealing a ton, but unfortunately, he is not playing a good shortstop right now, which is really tough to see. The 65 range is not the most ideal at shortstop, but he's been like good enough to keep playing there most of his career. So hopefully just some early season struggles, but Kyron Paris not looking great at the moment. And then on our bench, we've got guys like Trent Grisham, who has just been like fine. He's our backup center fielder. How's he playing in center field? He's fine. He's played 9 games, 4 games started. Jorge Mateo has been absolutely god-awful as our backup infielder, so we might have to look to make a change there. We might have to waive and DFA him and look down into our minor league system to bring somebody else up because, I mean, the backup infielder does play a decent amount, and you just can't. You can't have this. You can't have a 1 WRC plus. I'm sorry. I like Jorge Mateo, but you can't. And then, as is tradition, our backup catcher has a negative WRC plus. It is just incredible. It's like Logan O'Hoppe has some sort of spell over whoever comes in and plays backup catcher, because it doesn't matter who we bring in. They're just always bad. What is the deal? And then you can also see here, we've had Alan Serta start off the season in Double-A. He's been really solid down there. He did come up for 6 games, 5 starts, and did really well while Tratt was hurt, but now Tratt is back, so Serta is back in Triple-A. And the reason why we sent down Serta and we have Rosario up is because Serta had one more option year. This is his last option year now. And Rosario obviously didn't, and we wanted the lefty Abreu up, so we didn't send Abreu down, plus he's hitting well. So Serta was just kind of the odd man out once we claimed Rosario. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be back up at some point this season, especially with Mike Trout being wrecked, but for right now, he is in AAA. As far as how our pitchers have been doing, it's been a mixed bag. Like, Logan Webb has been very solid. Basically a 2-WAR, 127 ERA plus, very, very solid FIP minus. He's doing his thing where he throws a bunch of innings, and he just pitches really well. So Logan Webb, love to see that. Brandon Woodruff has been totally fine since coming back from his UCL tear, I think it was. Yes, it was. He's been totally fine. Dylan Cease has been great with the R-WAR. Not so great with the WAR. Very good ERA plus, but he's kind of struggling a bit with the FIP. Not the worst FIP, but he is getting pretty gypped with the what am I saying? I always get confused and I look at the BABIPs and I'm like, oh, he's getting gypped with the BABIP. Then I'm like, no, it's good when a pitcher has low BABIP. It's very streaky, it's very fluky. It's not going to remain that way. But I don't know. My brain just confuses that sometimes. So if I'm ever looking at a pitcher and I'm like, oh, he's going to get in gypped with the BABIP and he has a low BABIP, I know how BABIP works for pitchers. It's just my brain fucking with me, essentially. So yeah, and also tough to see with Dylan Cease. You can see here his fastball's down to a 45. We have him signed for... actually, we could get rid of him next year because he has a team option for next season, which is good to see because the perfect timing on this... you can see his fastball is down an 88 to 90. He has gotten a... What am I looking for? Scouting. He has gotten multiple drops ever since we basically signed him, really. We signed him, he was throwing 97 to 99. Like, is that when we got him? We've had him since 2026. Yeah. Since 2026. So if we take a look at his scouting... September 2026, August 2027, his velocity drops, and now he's suddenly a guy who doesn't even throw 90 consistently. So, not great. Definitely going to the last year of Dylan Cease, but right now he's doing some like CC Sabathia type shit where he lost his velocity, but he's still managing to put up a really good ERA plus. So we'll see how long that lasts. And then Reed Detmers has been not great so far here this season. I don't think he's always been an extreme fly ball guy. I think that's new. I don't know if that doesn't show in the scouting reports, but I'm fairly sure he hasn't always been extreme fly ball, but this season has not been great in the ERA plus, and he's been like treading water with the FIP. So hopefully he can get that figured out eventually. What is his BABIP looking like? Yeah, maybe the BABIP comes down like 20 points to where it usually is, and then maybe things start to regress. But Griffin Canning as well has not been great. He got really, really lucky last season, and so far this year just has not been great. But you know, we'll keep rocking with what we're rocking with. We believe in this rotation. It is possibly going to look a bit different next year because, like I said, Cease has the team option. Probably not going to bring him back. Logan Webb is an expiring contract. He had one more year when we traded for him. Brandon Woodruff has his player opt-out after this year, so if he does not want the pay cut down to $15.2 million, he might opt out. I'm kind of indifferent whether he does or not. And then Reed Detmers has entering the final 2 years of his deal, which are both team options. So, I mean, if this extreme fly ball holds, which probably will, and he does not put up a great season, we might look to getting rid of him. But I don't know. I don't want to replace 5 starters in the offseason. So obviously we're still in the regular season here. We have a bit to go, but just looking ahead, things could be a bit different next year, as well as Griffin Canning is just in the final year of his deal overall. So possibly we would have to replace 5 starting pitchers in our rotation next season, which obviously not ideal. And then here in the bullpen, has not been great. Our middle relievers have been our best guys ERA-wise, if we sort by ERA plus. All right, we'll go innings. Ben Joyce and Sean Burke have our most innings in the bullpen. Burke is the long reliever. Not been great. Ben Joyce, solid FIP, not great ERA plus. His BABIP's been a bit high, 330 BABIP. What is his career BABIP looking like? He's always been like a BABIP guy, or a high BABIP guy, so, figure it out. Figure it out, Ben Joyce. We can't be having what you're doing right now, especially since you're at one of our stoppers. And then Andrew Healy, our lefty stopper, who we picked up in the Duran trade last year. He was really good in AAA for St. Paul last year as a starter. He's been our one of our stoppers this year, and he's fine. He hasn't been great, but he's been fine. We'll keep rocking with him. Hayden Birdsong has been actually really solid, especially with the FIP when it comes to the bullpen this season. 29.6 K percentage, 22.4 K minus walk. Love to see that from Hayden Birdsong. We've believed in him for so long, and he's finally putting together a decent year for us. Skylar Hayes, who we picked up with a trade from Tampa Bay. Who did we get him for? Yeah, that was the Bachman trade. So he just slots into our bullpen here, and he has been solid. 25 innings as a middle relief guy. Love to see it. Keep doing your thing. Jose Lopez, he was nails in the postseason for us last season, and he has continued to be very solid for us, as he was solid for us in the regular season last year. Love to see it. He's even jumped his K percentage, or K minus walk percentage, because he's dropped his walks, which is love to see that. And then we also have Jamie Melendez, who we called up because we sent somebody down. I forget who it was, but we sent somebody down. We called up Melendez here. Oh, what it was Connor Phillips got hurt, which we'll get into it in a bit. So we called up Melendez, who we picked up along with the Serta trade. He was part of that with Serta and Zavala when we traded Joe Adell. And he did not get any time for us last season in the big leagues. And I like the fact that he has the 80 step potential with the 4 really solid pitches. The control obviously limits him to being a reliever. So far, has not been good. Probably bad enough to being sent down. I mean, you can't have an almost 3 home run per 9 with a 4.44 BABIP, obviously, is insane. So that is going to regress a bit, probably. But I don't know. We might rock with him for a couple more weeks, or maybe a week or so, and then make a decision. But right now, not looking good for Jamie Melendez here. And then, like I said, Sean Burke, who we picked up in a trade with the Diamondbacks, which was the Cade Cavalli trade. And then Joe Arriola, who they promptly released. Interesting. But, yeah, Sean Burke has been, fine. He's, a low-leverage, long-relief guy. I probably should have him as a void high leverage, honestly. But, yeah, we picked him up from Arizona in the Cade Cavalli deal. We also picked up Owen Wild, who's in Double-A for us, doing solid things. I guess they put him in... Oh, that was last year. So, yeah, doing solid things in Double-A. Let's get another scouting report on this guy. But yeah, Sean Burke, low leverage, long relief guy. That's how the pitchers are shaping out. And I did want to show one thing, because Grant Taylor has been quite good in AAA. We might call him up at some point. Who else there was? Patrick Forbes has been really solid. He won Player of the Month, I believe, at one point. Yes. He won Player of the Month in April down in Double-A, and my scout thinks he's a 50 potential, 50 overall starter. So that's maybe not an option for the bullpen this season, but maybe not for the rotation. But like I said, we might have to replace a lot of starters next year. So Patrick Forbes doing stuff like this, love to see that. And then we also have Walbert Urena being fine down in Double-A. And then there was one more guy who I think I wanted to talk about in Double-A. Oh, yes, Chris Sands here. I said that he was going to start the year in high A. 10 starts, was solid. He was shoving with the FIP. Solid ERA plus, striking out a ton of guys. He's a 27.5 K minus walk. Love to see it. So we were like, hey, come up to double A, see what you're going to do. He hasn't pitched yet because we literally just called him up to double A. But Chris Sands and Patrick Forbes, both possible options to come up to the big leagues next season if we're going to need some replacements in the rotation. Maybe Sands not so much because I don't want to rush him too much, but Forbes for sure could be an option for us at some point in the rotation. And also, we are just going to go right ahead here and waive in DFA Jorge Mateo. And we're going to call up somebody who has been in our system. I would like to call up Xavier Edwards because I like this profile. He's got the speed. He can play all over the place. But unfortunately, he can't play shortstop anymore. 45 range. Don't love to see that. We could call up Gonzalez, but he's also not really a shortstop. So what we are going to do is we're going to call up Vidal Brujan, who has been hanging around in our system here. He's a switch hitter, 60 range, can play all over the place. He's been solid in AAA for us. We're going to call Vidal Brujan up to our major league team. And he is going to take Mateo's spot as the backup infielder. All right, let's hop into the draft here. We have the 29th overall pick. So let's just see how things... Who do they think we're going to take? Cletus Posley. They think we're going to take a Canadian guy named Cletus. I mean, not the worst profile. 60 range. Looks like he could be a decent bat. Interesting. Definitely wouldn't be opposed to taking him if he is there. But we're going to hop into things here. All players. All right, let's just see who St. Louis takes, number 1 overall. Andres Bat Destroyer Zamora. Okay. Okay. UT pitcher. And, yeah. Yeah, this guy seems like he could be absolutely fucking insane. Extreme ground ball with a 70 home run suppression. Potential 65 stuff. I mean, this guy, they could have just gotten themselves an ace here. But we're going to move on to our pick. Some high school pitchers who we're probably not going to take, even though they do seem interesting. But he is very expensive, and we don't have... How much did I put my budget in the draft? Yeah, I only have $8 million in draft budget. So I don't think we're going to be wiping it all out on Mr. Chad Siebert here, because I am just out on high schoolers right now. High school pitchers. I'm kind of more... I don't mind high school bats as much. Like, this guy looks like he could be, like, insane. But high school pitchers, just not it. Don't love the turn DP and error on this guy. Who are the best college guys? College pitcher, not the greatest. From Lehigh. This guy's 65 range shortstop could be interesting. But honestly, I think I'm just going to go with that high school hitter I was looking at, because he just seems like the best available. We got an 80 range. He's a pitcher? You have 80 outfield range, brother. Well, I guess he can't really actually do anything with it, but insane. There's also an 80 range shortstop who, I mean, I'm obviously not going to take this guy first round, but this guy is absolutely somebody who I'm going to add him into just my default shortlist, just so his name pops up like that. But we want this guy. we need this guy, perhaps you could even say. Insane university to come out of. But yeah, we need that guy. Not right now, but we do need him eventually. I think I'm going to go on Maya here. He's got the high work ethic, the 60 range, 70 gap power, 70 power, 55 eye potential, with 50s across the board in the contact here too as well. Switch hitter. Uh, yeah. I mean, this guy just seems too good to pass up. This shortstop is really solid too. Don't love the error. Probably more of a second baseman than he is a shortstop, but I mean this bat looks very good. Uh and then that Cletus guy is here too, but I definitely like this guy more than I like Cletus. So I think we're gonna take Daniel Amaya. We're gonna rock with him. We're gonna meet his bonus demand recommended. Yeah, we'll meet his demand. We'll move things on to our second round pick. Is that 80? That 80 range guy went second round. Oh no. No. Is it gonna say who took him if I look on my short list here? I don't think so. The Phillies. Wait, pick 25, round 2, 66 overall. What am I looking for? 66. He literally went 3 picks ago. Oh my god. That's brutal. That's brutal. Man. That guy's going to be impossible to trade for, too, with 80 range. That sucks. I wanted that guy a lot. Now, there is 70 range here, which is not quite 80. But there is 70 range. And he also looks like he has some really good outfield range. That is an interesting profile. But once again, I don't know if I want to take this guy now. This shortstop I was looking at is here. The high school guy. Who are the best college dudes? I think I would prefer a college guy right now because we want to try to get somebody who's like going to be coming up to the big leagues not in 6 years. Like this Canadian guy we were looking at before from BC. 65 range. Maybe. What's this pitcher's deal? He's okay. Raheem Charlie, no. Who does my scout think we should take? He thinks we should take this guy, and that kind of makes me think that we should just take this guy because I do think he is the best player available. Can only really be like second or third. I wouldn't really want this guy to play short. We do love the line drive hitter. His stuff has dropped a bit, but we're gonna still take him. My scout thinks he's the best available, so I would agree with that, so we're gonna take him. Move things on round 3. Is that 70 range dude? Dowd is still here. I'm tempted to hold off one more round and see if he's there. Especially, I mean, the guy that I think we should take in first round is still here. High school arm, though, or high school player, though, and I feel like I'd prefer a college guy right now like this guy. Even though he is like a poor competition Canadian college guy, he does have the 65 range, much more playable of a shortstop. He's got a bunch of light blue here in the personality. Could be a decent little player. This guy has got to be of native descent with a name like Red Horse. No chance this guy is not of native descent. No chance. But love the name though. I mean, Red Horse. I mean, that's elite stuff. Unfortunately, don't really like your outlook as a catcher. Don't really have a positional home, so probably not going to be taking you here. Clicked on the wrong guy. Third base high school guy. I don't know. I feel like I prefer the Canadian 65 range guy. Is he like the best college? Yeah, he's the best college guy here. Some 50s, and then you get down into the 45. So I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take Brulhart, or however you say that guy's name. Yeah, that's the pitcher with 80 grade range who is not really worth taking because he has 80 grade range, but he's got the 35 air, 35 arm. Much better pitcher than he is anything in the field. I mean, this guy is not the worst pitcher, but he does have the low work ethic, lots of mixed, really giant mixed bag in the personality. Demonstrated mental toughness and capacity to learn in his academic settings. Scouts disagree about whether it will translate into the game. I mean, yeah, he's got a high intelligence, low work ethic, high greed, financial ambition, high adaptability, but he's got low leader, low loyalty. Guy's all over the place. Can't figure out what he wants to be. It's not the worst profile though. I don't mind this profile at all. But I don't like it more than something that's available right now, like Brulhart, who we're gonna take, meet his demand, move things on. And then I just don't want to miss out on the range here. We don't have anybody in our system with this type of range. Just, there is not a single person in our system with this type of range. We don't love the ground ball hitter, but this guy is 100% being taken for his range. This guy's impossible signee. This guy has 65 range, which is definitely a downgrade. Yeah, what are the best? Okay, yeah, so the college guys are down into the 45s. You have a couple 50s here, like this third baseman, who is interesting. I guess he was drafted last year and didn't sign. Failed to sign with the Nationals. Yeah, I think we're gonna take him. I don't want to miss out on this guy. So round 4, we're going Alvaro Dowd, the 70 range infielder with some 60 range outfield capability as well. Alvaro Dowd, just meet his demands, and we move things on to round 5. And now, we could take this guy. Much more of a bat profile than in the field, but this is a decent bat with the 60 gap, the 50 power, 55 contact potential. Can't really play the outfield. He's definitely just like a second base, first base guy. And even then, probably more of a first baseman, because he would never be a good defensive second baseman. I mean, we have Zach Neto at second base, and he's not even a good defensive second baseman. This guy is awful at second base. Although the ratings cannot be, they don't tell the whole story, it seems. Like, there's no reason why Zach Neto should be bad defensively at second base, but then, like, I've seen guys with, like, 55 range at second base have just be, like, totally fine. So, who knows, but definitely you would not draft this guy for his glove. You'd be drafting him for the bat, plus the holy duo, plus adaptability. High school guys. Red Horse is still here. I don't like his profile. He has no positional home. I mean, this guy's interesting. Absolutely crazy. See, I love, because I'm pretty sure we're at the point now where these draft classes are all fake guys. And I love the fake classes in this, because it's like, oh, you'll get a guy who's from Charlestown, West Virginia, but somehow ended up going to high school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he's committed to UMass Lowell. Just incredible stuff. Or sometimes you'll be like, oh, the guy who's projected to go 3rd overall is like a high schooler from New York, and he's projected to go to like some, like, I don't even know, like some middling, like southern school. It'll be like, oh, he's projected to go to like Stetson. And Stetson's not a good example, because I'm trying to like think of a good example here, but you know what I mean. It's instead of being like, oh, this guy who's thinking about not signing at 3rd overall, he's not going to LSU. He's going to Northwestern State. And it's just funny how the game develops. I love it. I'm not like criticizing it. I think it's very funny, and it adds flair and personality to the game. But it always cracks me up every time I see it. I like this guy, honestly. High work ethic, lots of light blue here. He could be, him. He could be a solid third baseman with the 55 range and the 65 arm. I mean, he's never going to be like a huge home run hitter, but I mean, if he has like 55 power that develops, which is not looking great because he only has 25 of it right now, with this contact not strikeout profile, he could be a really solid bat. But it all hinges on if this power can develop, which we could throw in the lab and try to develop that. Looks like his eye is dropped. Interesting. I mean, I like this guy, but do I like him more than, like, high school arm? I'm not doing that. High school arm. Really don't want to do that. Jimmy Terosian. Villanova. Don't like this. Andy Pendleton, switch hitting. I mean, he's a first baseman. He's a first baseman DH. Austin's here. I don't like any of these 60 guys. Who does our scout think we should take? He thinks we should take Red Horse, which, sick name. It's great 65 power here. But I think I prefer, where'd he go? I prefer Mesa over him. This guy, not a great defender. A lot of 50s. Who are like some, let's throw this by Gap. Ted Giles. I think is how you say that. Jay Giles, the Jay Giles band. Steve Austin, we saw that. Stone Cold. I mean, his name's Steve Austin. I'm not a wrestling guy, but I do think that Stone Cold Steve Cold Austin is pretty sick. Plus, I've got the perfect voice to be able to do an impression of his sometimes. I'm not the greatest at it. I'm not going to break it out. I'll leave you waiting for it. But this guy, I mean, 80 power, 3.K. This guy to be striking out like 100% of the time. I mean, the fact that this is what happens when you play high school in Illinois, I guess, is that you have a 25 avoid K potential, and you're striking out less than you hit, which is always one of my favorite things in sports media, is when dudes unironically will post like a highlight clip of like Derrick Henry in high school being like, Derrick Henry was insane in high school. It's like, oh, really? You don't say, dude. Drew Butera was sick in high school. I don't mind this guy's profile. We like the contact, good gap power, 60 potential eye. He's already got the power developed a little more than the third base guy I was looking at. Steve Rice could be interesting. We like the gap power potential with the 50 contacts, 50 eye. The eye's not developed, though. All right, if it comes down to Rice, this guy's interesting. Catcher with a decent bat profile, 60 framing. Bit of an Austin Barnes behind the plate with the 45 arm, but could be interesting. Plus, he's a cold weather guy. Fly ball hitter, too. I mean, that's an interesting profile. I like this guy. Cuevas. I think it's Cuevas or Rice. Let's compare these dudes. I mean, Rice is definitely the better potential hitter. It's just Cuevas has the possibility of being a really good defensive catcher too. I think we're gonna take Rice. Steve Rice from Huntsville, Alabama. We're taking him. Meeting his demands. We're moving things on. Cuevas is still here. Our scout thinks we should take this high school pitcher who we are 100% not taking. Somehow he's come off Red Horse. He wanted Red Horse last round. Both of these guys are still here. And now he's like, actually, I think you should take this guy and not Red Horse. But I like Cuevas. I really like this guy. We're going to take him. We're taking Cuevas. Going with the gut feeling there. We're taking him. Move things on round 7. Red Horse is still here with the 65 power. Scat thinks we should take Noah Franco. No? Like, no thanks. There is no chance. No chance this is Steven. What? This has got to be like a generated thing, right? This has got to be like MLB, not MLB. This has got to be OOTP having some system in the game where once you get to the point where it's the fake draft classes, they will generate a junior for a former player without it actually being their son. This has got to be. I mean, there's no way Stephen Piscotty has a son born in 2009. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I mean, there's no way. There's no way that's actually Stephen Piscotty's kid. We've got to be in the fake draft classes now. I mean, that's funny. I think that is quite funny. Steve Bryant, I think that guy's got an interesting bat profile. But I mean, Red Horse, I don't know, it's probably the 60 potential it's jumping out to be being like, oh, it's Red Horse, but he's the high school guy. This is not developing. I mean, I like this guy, honestly. I like this bat. Could be a really solid corner outfield bat. We're just gonna go with him. We're gonna go Steve Bryant. We have no bats in our system. Boom. Welcome to the team. We're around 8 here. We're just kind of taking guys based on vibes at this point. Not really, but there's still some decent dudes here. Like this guy. Interesting. Just for the bat, though. Never going to be a good fielder. This guy's interesting. Decent bat, 65 range, good speed profile. Can play like some second base, maybe a little bit of shortstop. Probably not, though. Probably second base. Some left field if you need him to. Right field, possibly. Switch hitter. Interesting player. Who's this guy? .60 range. Bunch of green here in the potentials. Could play some infield for you too if you needed it. Would definitely prefer him to be an outfielder, but he can give you some some infield if you really wanted. All right, so we're comparing Piscotty Jr. and Ben Urbanowicz here. And Piscotty's got the better bat, slightly better gap, but that's really the only thing that Urbanowicz has on him. They've both got the 60 range, a little bit better error and arm for Urbanowicz, but he's got the better outlook overall. Piscotty being, that is. They're not 2A guys. But yeah, I think we're going to take Piscotty. We're going to take the probably fake Stephen Piscotty Jr. And then what do you know? Urbanowicz is still here. We're gonna get both of them. Boom. Give me Urbanowicz. Me move things on around 10. Red Horse is still here. I feel like I gotta take him. He's like a character at this point. Alrighty, we have gotten to the end of the draft here. Here's the recap of the guys we took. I think we left off on Piscotty and Urbanowicz. Or maybe I showed Mulligan too, but we took Daniel Amaya in the first round. A 60 range, interesting bat profile here. Then Kevin Brewer, round 2. Then we took, in round 3, Aral Brewhart. Alvaro Dowd, 70 range shortstop. Steve Rice, interesting high school corner outfield bat. Interesting 60 frame, possible decent hitter too here at catcher, Luis Cuevas. Steve Bryant, interesting corner outfield potential for him. Stephen Piscotty Jr., 60 range, interesting bat profile. Ben Urbanowicz, sort of similar to Piscotty. And then we took Red Horse Mulligan, the catcher who can't really catch. We'll probably leave him there for a little bit, but for the most part, he's probably going to be looking like more of like a first base DH type. Jordan Serrano, a 65 range, high work ethic, intelligence center field guy. We took in the draft in round 11. Round 12, we took another catcher who I thought was interesting. High leader, high work ethic. Round 13, we took this guy with an interesting, like, make lots of contact, never strike out profile. Another catcher with interesting high work ethic, intelligence, adaptability, decent defensively, decent to make a lot of contact, hitting profile. Then we took in round 15 a pitcher with big stuff, just taking a flyer on a pitchers because we didn't really take any pitchers early in the draft. And then the last bit of the draft here was just us taking a bunch of, like, you know, Hail Mary pitcher attempts. Like this guy, big stuff. This guy, big stuff, reliever. This guy, big stuff, reliever. Eric Evett, big stuff, probably reliever, but he is listed as a starter. This guy, horrible control, knuckleball. We got to take a chance on it, baby. 22 years old, pitching out of Johns Hopkins University. Believe they're a D3 program. Knuckleball. Let's see what this guy's got. And then Jake Nelson, a reliever out of college, high work ethic, intelligence, adaptability. That was our draft. We'll see how these guys develop.